Good afternoon. Authorities in Will County are investigating a murder today after a neighborhood dog brought the victim's head home to his master, leading to the discovery of a shallow grave in a nearby forest preserve. We'll have the story. And a suspicious fire destroys a Carroll Stream church. The damage could top $200,000.
Also coming up, the latest on the fire department buff accused of stealing official vehicles for joyrides. And what may be the cutest Osmonds of all time, Janet Davies reports on the family's newest star. Those stories and much more coming up next on Eyewitness News.
This week at Dominic's, save on your next change of soft, absorbent Love's Deluxe diapers. Small, medium, large, and extra large, just $8.99 a box. The savings are sizzling on Oscar Mayer bacon. Save big on the lowest price in years. Price them up at just $1.89 a 1-pound package. And there are exceptional savings on Dominic's large-size eggs. They're USDA Grade A fresh and just 59 cents a dozen at Dominic's, the only food store this good.
At work, at play, combos really teases your hunger away.
Cheese-flavored combos, a wholesome filled snack made with real cheese.
'Cause combos really teases your hunger away.
Cocaine is a drug of denial. If your life and paycheck are going up in smoke because of a little cocaine problem, call Martha Washington Treatment Center at 287-COKE before the smoke turns to fire.
Bicentennial celebration Saturday at 6.
This is Channel 7 Eyewitness News with Joel Daly and Marianne Childers, Jerry Taft's weather, Mike Adamley on sports, and the Eyewitness News team.
Good afternoon, everyone. This afternoon, Will County authorities are attempting to identify a body found near the town of Shorewood Lake yesterday. The gruesome discovery was made after a dog brought the victim's head home to its master. Tim Ryan has more.
The body was buried in a shallow grave, only about a foot deep and covered with dirt. It might never have been found had it not been for Spike the dog. The happy-go-lucky mutt has the run of the area around the auto body shop where she lives and has often brought home small animals.
I pulled up in front of the gates, opened up the gates, and I checked the mailbox every morning, and I just happened to look down and seen the skull laying there. Like, whoa, what's this?
Quite scary when you sit there and look at a real human skull with tissue and flesh still on it, laying out in front of you. You're wondering what the heck's going on here, you know?
Spike was not much help to police after that. The officers had to search another 2.5 hours before the rest of the body was found. Busy Interstate 55 is about a half-mile in that direction, but this spot is secluded from the view of the traffic. Police do not think that a murder took place here. They simply believe that this was a convenient spot to dump the body.
The experts on the scene, the coroner and a doctor on the scene, felt that it was approximately 4 months.
So it had been there for quite some time.
When the autopsy results are in, police will contact other agencies across the country to see if they can match the body to missing persons reports. Tim Ryan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Police say the murder victim is a white male, possibly in his mid-20s. He was wearing blue jeans and black high-top Reebok tennis shoes. Marianne?
An early morning fire has destroyed one of the oldest churches in suburban Carroll Stream. St. Andrew United Methodist Church was virtually destroyed when flames raced through the wooden structure. And as Bob Petty reports, this fire spread so quickly, it's prompted the state fire marshal to investigate.
The fire might have been set deliberately, but no one can say why or by whom, at least not yet. St. Andrew's United Methodist Church began burning early this morning. Preliminary evidence indicates the fire began in kitchen garbage cans, then quickly spread until the entire building was in flames.
The volume of fire that was in there was really great. When my men first got here, the fire was blowing out the windows, and that's one of the things we have to really determine is why the fire got such of a large magnitude.
Because of how the fire may have started and because of the way that fire burned, the state fire marshal has been asked to help conduct an investigation. Neighbors reported seeing people on the church grounds late last night. Play mats that should have been inside the church's preschool were found outside on the grass, along with an unexplained, unidentified suitcase. For the arson or accident, There was a loss when one of Carroll Stream's oldest churches burned while church members watched.
We had done a lot of work in the last 3 or 4 years. We put a new flat roof on the education wing and carpeted everything, and we had done several things to get the building up to snuff.
Such feelings were common among St. Andrew members.
So many memories and so many, particularly dealing with young children. I think that's what struck me first was all the thoughts of what's in there and the work that goes involved with it.
St. Andrew's United Methodist has received offers to share space with other churches in the neighborhood. There are discussions of space with a nearby school. Within the next 2 weeks, the church hopes that it will have a temporary home. But for next Sunday, members of the congregation will meet here on the church grounds. In Carroll Stream, Bob Petty, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
No one was injured in this blaze. Damage is estimated to be in excess of $200,000. Joe.
Chicago police have captured the man they believe is responsible for a series of thefts of fire department vehicles. 20-year-old Walter Collins was arrested last night driving this commissioner's car, which had been used by former Fire Commissioner William Blair. Collins admits to stealing a total of 5 vehicles, including 3 ambulances from the fire department's garage at 31st and Sacramento. Officers last night had to chase Collins, but not very far. The car was in such poor shape it couldn't reach high speeds. Collins has been charged with burglary and released on a $10,000 signature bond. So far, auto theft charges have not been filed.
The Marine Corps has now set September the 8th for the court-martial of Bloomington Marine Robert Stufflebeam. The 25-year-old staff sergeant is charged with having an affair with at least one Soviet woman and then lying about it under oath. Stufflebeam is being held at Quantico Base in Virginia, but he's not restricted to his quarters. Also at Quantico this afternoon, a military grand jury-type hearing is underway to determine if Sergeant Kenneth Kelleher of Hinsdale, Illinois, should be court-martialed on charges of allowing a Swiss woman into unauthorized areas of the U.S. Embassy there. And Army Private Adrian Morris, Jr. of Caseyville, Illinois, goes on trial tomorrow in Arizona. He's accused of having sex with other soldiers when he knew he was infected with the deadly AIDS virus. Morris is believed to be the first U.S. serviceman to face court-martial on AIDS-related offenses.
Still ahead on Eyewitness News, Dr. Bruce Stan on summer and yeast infections, tips to avoid them, and a home remedy. And this morning's surprising ride on the Kennedy after this.
Why make 2 trips? And why wait? At Precision Lens Crafters, you can get quality eyeglasses in about an hour, even tough prescriptions like trifocals and bifocals.
I've gotten bifocals, and I've gotten less than an hour. 50 to 55 minutes.
It was fast, but it wasn't rushed.
Why make 2 trips?
Precision Lens Crafters, quality eyeglasses in about an hour. 15 Chicago stores, including Woodfield, Burbank, Berwyn, and Downers Grove. Or call 691-2100 for one near you.
At Salozi Edelson Chevrolet, you can drive home in this all-new sporty 1988 Beretta.
Or this beautiful 1988 Corsica 4-door sedan.
You can choose from Chicagoland's largest selection of over 1,800 Chevrolets ready for immediate delivery.
And we promise you won't find a better price anywhere, or we'll give you back the difference in cash.
At Salozi Edelson Chevrolet in Elmhurst at York and Roosevelt Roads, where you always save more money.
The Comet Watch continues.
A washing machine. It has come. What has? Highland's Comet. Come, we must leave. Behold, Highland's Comet sale.
Highland's Comet is here with incredible savings on many items. Like this Sanyo 14-day programmable VHS video recorder with wireless remote, just $218.
But, Doctor, what about Halley's Comet?
Sale ends Monday.
You'll find unexpected quality and spectacular savings in every department during Wick's Furniture's Everything on Sale sale. Save $800 on this beautiful 4-piece bedroom, regularly $1599.99, now just $799.98. Or buy the $699 sleeper and get the matching $499 love seat free in your choice of contemporary, country, or casual. Everything's on sale now.
Wick's, surprisingly Wick's.
The early morning rush hour offered some surprises on the Kennedy Expressway this morning. Shortly after 6, inbound commuters found themselves driving on the grass alongside the Ohio Street ramp. The reason? A semi-trailer truck hauling a load of dirt and rocks overturned, spilling its cargo and closing down 2 eastbound lanes. No one was hurt. The cleanup and clear-out operation lasted a bit longer than expected, but drivers were back on the road by 8:30. On the road again. It looked kind of funny.
You know, it's bad enough when you drive in the morning traffic and then
That's right.
have something like that. And it's bad enough that it's hot.
It's really hot, and I see no relief in sight, Jerry.
Well, I don't see any relief in sight either, Joel. You were down in the weather office.
Those steering winds are still farther north.
They're still way up there in Canada, Joel. It could be worse, though. I was noticing that Tucson, Arizona, today hit their 34th day in a row of over 100 degrees.
Yeah, but how much humidity?
Yeah, but it's real dry there, so it's just beautiful there. I'm sure they all love it down there. Let's take a look at our radar now, see what we have in the way of showers across the area. This is our live radar. There we go, and you can see showers and thunderstorms off to the east of us, east of Lafayette. Now, late this afternoon, we did develop a few showers and thunderstorms directly over the city. They moved out over the lake, and as you can see, they have dissipated. There are a couple of isolated showers back to the west, but there's nothing in the immediate vicinity of Chicago. Let's take a look at the radar plot, and this is all the radars across the Midwest, and you can see heavy showers and storms off to the east and to the north of us, and not much back to the west. It looks like the next couple of days we will avoid the rain, but we will still have the heat and humidity. Here's a look at the satellite photo. And you can see some of the heavier clouds down to the south and east associated with those showers and thunderstorms. Partly cloudy skies over us, and you have to go all the way up to Minnesota before you really see some bright, bright sunshine. 92 here in Chicago, 87 degrees back in St. Louis. It's 80 in Des Moines, 84 in Minneapolis, 85 in Memphis. So it's pretty warm and humid for the late afternoon. Munster, Indiana, 85, 88 in Highland Park, 87 at the lake. At Midway, it's 84, and the official reading now at O'Hare, miserable, 92 degrees. Humidity is high at 50%. Now, that may seem like a low number, but when you combine it with a temperature of 92, that is a pretty high humidity, and the temperature-humidity index now sitting at 80, which means all of us are uncomfortable. The wind's out of the southwest at 16 miles an hour. We had a low. This is our low temperature this morning of 77, high today 92, normal high 83. Last year, we had a pretty nice day. It was quite a bit cooler with a high of 75. Record high for this date. We're 6 degrees below that right now. The record high is 98. Sunset this evening at 8:27. Here's a look at the entire United States by satellite. You can see this line of clouds and showers, heavy thunderstorms, East Texas, up the Ohio Valley, and most of that activity is off to the east of us as the very warm, humid air continues to flow into the area. Now, the only difference really over the next 3 to 4 days, instead of getting the flow directly off the Gulf, we're going to get more of a southwesterly flow. It'll still be humid, but it won't have the moisture at the low levels to kick off the showers and thunderstorms that we have seen over the past couple of days in the late afternoon. So tomorrow we will have sunshine, not much in the way of rain, but it will be hot tomorrow, and that will continue right on through the weekend. No cooling now until possibly Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Forecast for tonight, partly cloudy skies, maybe an isolated thunderstorm early, but I think most of those are off to the east of us now. Warm and humid, overnight low down to 73. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, hot, humid, 94 degrees on a southwest wind. Tomorrow night, fair and still rather humid, overnight low down to 75. Then on Saturday, sunny, still hot, 96 degrees on Saturday, and more of the same expected for Sunday. So throughout the weekend, tomorrow, it's going to be more just like we've seen for the past couple of days.
Okay, Jared, thanks a lot.
And no problem, Joel.
Coming up next, summer heat and humidity can add up to vexing problems for women. We'll have that story and more right after this.
I can only cook one thing, but I do it very well. My giddy-up chili. I use only fresh, natural ingredients. This tomato came from the garden out back. And this came from a chunk of 100% natural Kraft cheese. See, unlike some shredded products, Kraft shredded cheese is all natural. No artificial ingredients or preservatives. Good. When I'm cooking, it's got to be 100% natural Kraft brand shredded cheese.
Even with all you do to keep your family healthy, you may be overlooking something that could cause illness. Roaches, now proven to carry at least 6 known diseases. Call Orkin, because Orkin has protected more homes from disease-carrying pests than anyone on Earth. That's why they're #1. And they'll make your home safe from pests or your money back. Call Orkin today. For pests, they just might be all the protection you'll ever need.
This week at Dominic's, discover the fresh brewed savings on Hills Brothers coffee. Electric, regular, and automatic drip, just $5.99. Decaffeinated drip, just $7.99. You'll devour the savings on Prego Alfresco spaghetti sauce. Garden tomato, mushroom, or sweet red pepper, 2 jars are just $3. And let Dominic's begin your day with General Mills cereals. Help yourself to big savings on all varieties and sizes at Dominic's, the only food store this good.
The biggest news in carpeting since nylon is the terrific new stain-safe carpet. Even Fruit Punch wipes up in minutes. Problem is, nobody can deliver it for weeks. So where is all this great stain-safe carpeting? Well, I'll tell you where it is. It's right here in Empire's big warehouse. Stain-safe, Stain Guard, Stain Master. We're the only guys who have it all in stock. We have it in our place today, so you can have it in your place tomorrow.
588-2300 Empire.
Empire today, stain-safe carpet tomorrow.
Some medical conditions are the private property of one sex or the other, and one of the more vexing problems for women is yeast infections. As Dr. Bruce Dan is here to report, they are far more common during the hot summer months. Bruce?
Well, Marianne, certainly the summertime is the time for heat and humidity like today, and that's the major reason for the increase in vaginal yeast infections. Yeast is just the common name we give to vaginal fungus infections, and like other fungal infections, such as athlete's foot, it tends to thrive where there's warmth and moisture. No surprise it occurs in summertime.
We're just going to be taking a sample of the discharge here, so I can take a look at it underneath the microscope.
Yeast infections are probably the most common form of vaginitis. Often up to 90% of women seen in a gynecologist's office are there for a vaginal yeast infection. Women know the most common symptom is itching.
I've heard some professors say that if you don't have itching, it's not a yeast infection. On exam, the patient may have some inflammation around the vagina and even the outer area called the vulva. And often the discharge which is present is white and thick.
Often a yeast infection can be diagnosed just by examination, but if there's a question, a simple smear can be made and the fungus observed under the microscope.
The initial treatment is very easy. Nowadays, the drug companies have perfected their therapies down to a 3-day or even a 1-day therapy, usually just a vaginal suppository that the patient inserts once a night for 3 nights.
Despite treatment with antifungal ointments, some women have repeated yeast infections. Often it's because of a change caused by taking antibiotics in what's called the vaginal flora, the normal mix of healthy fungus and bacteria.
What an antibiotic will do is, in most cases, destroy the bacteria. The normal vaginal flora is very dependent on a certain type of pH and a certain blend and mix and balance of bacteria, normal bacteria. What happens when you eradicate this bacteria is the acid-base balance of the vagina changes, and the yeast that may be normally present in very small numbers are allowed to overgrow.
Often recurrent yeast infections are a sign of an underlying condition. Pregnancy alters the vaginal pH and increases yeast infections. And diabetes is often first detected by recurrent yeast infections. And birth control pills may be a major cause of repeat infections. Some patients can't seem to get rid of yeast infections until they get off the pill. And in the summertime, women who wear nylon, non-absorbent pantyhose and spend much of the day sitting are more at risk for providing just the right environment for yeast.
In that case, we may suggest the patient switch to the cotton underwear, the regular hose instead of the pantyhose, or if she continues to wear the pantyhose, at least the cotton-lined pantyhose type of thing. And in some cases, this will help provide a little better ventilation if we feel that that's part of the problem.
If a patient has a tendency for yeast infections and the doctor prescribes an antibiotic for another infection, you might want to remind him to give you antifungal medicine at the same time. You may also want to try a folk remedy, eating yogurt. Some people believe that it replaces some of the normal bacteria eliminated by the antibiotics. But you should eat active cultures, Joel, not that gelatin stuff that doesn't have any of the bacteria in it.
Okay, Bruce, thank you. California coroner's investigation into the death of Liberace now shows that the flashy entertainer tested positive for the AIDS virus 8 months before his death. The presence of the AIDS virus was found during tests in Las Vegas, and evidence indicates Liberace was told about the test results. You'll recall that in the weeks before the pianist died, his associates repeatedly and publicly denied that Liberace had AIDS. Health statistics now show that AIDS has become the #1 killer of women aged 25 to 34 in New York City. Though startling, the experts say the numbers are not surprising, as one must consider that the overall death rate for women in that age group is very low, and those who have died of the disease were either intravenous drug users or sexual partners of male drug users. AIDS has for several years been the leading cause of death for New York City men in that 25 to 34 age bracket.
There's more news to come. Protesters disrupt the Contra hearings in Washington. They're against U.S. involvement in Central America. And Oliver North, day 3. The colonel is finally allowed to make that opening statement. Right after this.
That you will not investigate yourselves in this matter.
Don't do it.
A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Hard day.
By U.S. owner. The 273,000-ton Peconic was set on fire, but there were no injuries. The Peconic's radio operator gives us this eyewitness account.
We saw 2 speedboats following us, and then the one stopped and turned away, and the other one just kept following us, and he drew alongside, and he just opened fire. We were hit by 18 grenade balls. I'd say probably 17 of them hit. No injuries to the crew. There was a fire on board, which is now put out. We're on our way to Bahrain. That is the present situation.
Though licensed in the United States, the Peconic is registered in Liberia and flies that country's flag. After the attack, Iran warned the United States not to go ahead with its reflagging plans for Kuwaiti ships. 11 Kuwaiti ships are due to arrive with U.S. Navy escorts later this month. Marianne.
2 men were dragged out of the hearing room where Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North was testifying this morning after they staged a protest of U.S. military involvement in Central America. The disturbance surprised everyone in the room, including North, who on instinct started to duck, thinking the noise may have signaled danger. But the men, both from Baltimore, only wanted to be heard, shouting to the panel to ask North about the innocent civilians who've been killed by the Contras and about the alleged cocaine smuggling operation by CIA agents. The 2 men reportedly had planned this protest and had expected to be hauled off by police. After a 10-minute break, the hearing resumed.
He came to the committee this day armed and ready to do battle.
You make the rulings as to what is proper and what is not proper. You put the testimony which you think is helpful to your goals up before the people and leave others out. It's sort of like a baseball game in which you are both the player and the umpire. It's a game in which you call the balls and strikes and where you determine who is out and who is safe. And in the end, you determine the score and declare yourselves the winner. From where I sit, it is not the fairest process. One thing is, I think for certain, that you will not investigate yourselves in this matter.
Then North on what he called assessment of blame.
Plain and simple, the Congress is to blame because of the fickle, vacillating, unpredictable, on-again, off-again policy toward the Nicaraguan democratic resistance, the so-called Contras. I do not believe that the support of the Nicaraguan freedom fighters can be treated as the passage of a budget.
The committee sat impassively as North delivered his sharp criticism. The only response was a short one. After noting there had been no leaks of sensitive information from this committee, Chairman Dan Inouye offered only one other observation.
I wish the record to show that the panel did not amend, delete, or strike out any word or words or phrases from this opening statement.
Then the questioning resumed, with North repeating he did not violate the law against helping the Contras. Herbert Kaplow, ABC News, at the Iran-Contra hearings.
Later in the afternoon, there was a heated exchange between the attorney for Colonel North and the chief counsel, Arthur Lyman.
Are you able to recall your conversation with Admiral Poindexter on the 21st about the diversion without looking at that book?
That's none of your business either. You just ask him the question.
Please address the chair.
Mr. Chairman, let's get to the substance of these hearings and stop trying to get off his back.
We have a PA system here. You need not shout, sir.
President Reagan says he won't comment on the Iran-Contra hearings until they end. And he denies his new economic policy push is designed as a ploy to divert attention from damaging revelations.
And Marianne, a spokesman for Attorney General Edwin Meese tonight is flatly denying part of North's earlier testimony. North had told the congressional committees that Meese was among the top administration officials who took part in writing a false chronology last November concerning the 1985 sale of arms to Iran. Meese's spokesman today says that while Meese had learned of the shipment a few days before that November meeting, he did not take part in writing the false chronology, instead sitting silent and deferring to North. The spokesman said Meese had not seen enough information to intercede at that meeting.
More news ahead for us, but first let's check in the newsroom with Joan Esposito and see what's coming up on Eyewitness News at 5. Joan?
Coming up at 5, a man who fled the United States after he was convicted in the murder of a Northwest suburban doctor reportedly has died, but many involved in the case have their doubts. Also, prosecutors and immigration groups say illegal aliens' experience in their homeland is actually contributing to their problems here as they seek legal residency. And Frank Matthew says the Century plant's time has finally come. It's now 30 feet high and beginning to bloom. All that and much more coming up at 5. Joel and Marianne.
Thank you, Joan. Mike Adamley is next with the news in sports. Today, the Cubs' Andre Dawson is making news. He talks about Tuesday's direct hit and his injuries. We'll be right back.
You know, and again, you know, you throw up around someone